Hello everyone, this is your standard project that about 100 other students did exactly the same by Sharrah. Alongside hunks of metal being shot at you at great speeds, disease caused a great amount of death in the American Civil War. A few of the most dangerous diseases included dysentery caused by Entamoeba histolytica, typhoid caused by Salmonella paratifi, pneumonia primarily caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae, and malaria caused by protozoal parasite genus Plasmodium. A few of the medical procedures that would just make the patient's problems worse included the standard practice that surgeons wouldn't wash their instruments after surgery, the most being done to clean them was wiping them on their clothing. This allowed bacteria to jump from body to body, potentially making a surgery more dangerous than an actual battle. Let's just take this knife that we use to dig out a gut shot and use it to remove a ball from another guy's arm. It'll totally work. You know what? Let's take some pus from this guy who's dying and let's put it on this guy's wound. That ought to help him. And bacteria was a problem because it was easily spread and could infect the body through open wounds. This would make a simple wound, such as a shallow cut on the leg, become susceptible to disease and require amputation, which would in itself add more chances for disease to strike. However, as horrifyingly inadequate the medical procedures were, a couple of important advances in the medical industry came from it, including the anesthesia inhaler, which could administer chloroform to dampen pain with much less quantity of chloroform because it had less air contact compared to a cloth, which would evaporate. An ambulance system was used to transport wounded soldiers to hospitals, and even a sort of plastic surgery was invented, using cork to replace missing bone and other structural parts. You'd still look like you took a hammer to your face. Compared to what you looked like before, you'd be much better. The bacteria problem was soon largely solved by the discovery of penicillin, the first antibiotic. It was discovered when Alexander Fleming put his stack of bacteria in a corner, and when he came back from holiday, he noticed that one culture had been contaminated by a fungus that eliminated the bacteria around it. Penicillin was important to the medical field because it could kill bacteria, which was in some cases more dangerous than the wound that it enters the body by. A war that helped to promote penicillin was World War II. Penicillin was mass-produced and was used to treat many of the wounded, which severely lessened the death tolls. Bacteria was first tested topically, but it wasn't very effective, and then it was injected into an individual with an infection, where it was more successful. It allowed people to not have to live in fear of diseases that formerly meant inevitable death, and the bacteria it killed was Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, Meningococcus, and Diphtheria bacillus. And now for the drastic change from penicillin to hand washing. Hand hygiene became common practice in the medical healthcare system in 1847. It stops bacteria and viruses from going from patient to patient from the doctor's hands, potentially saving them from infection from a wound that wasn't theirs in the first place. Now I'm supposed to find a hand hygiene study and incorporate it into my movie. I found a really nice video about this nice doctor who told us everything about washing your hands, but I don't know how to incorporate it into a YouTube video into this. So right now you're just gonna have to watch me wash my hands right now. Wash your hands in warm water that is not hot or cold for 10 to 15 seconds. Use soap that is not caustic so that it won't irritate your skin. I repeat, 10 to 15 seconds. Isn't this exciting? Watching a video after 2 hours of watching other people's videos. I'm imagining you're having so much fun. Then dry off your hands with a towel, not a paper towel or a brush or anything like that. Pat your hands with the towel to clean them up so that you don't get irritated, like I'm irritated right now. Another important time to wash your hands is when you're working outside or around dirty environments. You could get sick from the bacteria and viruses from your environment, which is really bad. It is also important to wash your hands frequently if you're in the dental and medical careers, but you already knew that. But now you caught a bacteria from doing something that I told you not to do, and now you need to know how the antibiotics work in your body. Now, two antibiotic things include bacteriostatics, which stop bacteria from multiplying, while bactericidals kill the bacteria. Certain families of antibiotics can stop bacteria in different ways. Beta-lactam antibiotics stop bacteria from building cell walls, which will cause a bacterial cell membrane to explode without support. Macrolides stop the creation of ribosomes, which means no proteins, which means nothing will get done. And quinolones cause DNA strands to break during reproduction and then stops them from being repaired. And you know what? Those two bottles of bacteriostatics and bactericidals look pretty menacing in my opinion. It's almost as if they're not the heroes and they're the bad guys. Antibiotics are important because they protect us from harmful bacteria, and without them, humanity would be as attacked by epidemics such as the Spanish flu as it was many years ago. 5 different antibiotics include tetracycline, which stops Shigella, Shiggy Diggy, and Escherichia coli. Doxycycline, I don't know, treats streptococcus pneumonia, mycoplasma pneumonia, and chlamydia psittaci. Colistin treats Escherichia, coli, Pseudomonas what is this? Aeruginosa, and Klebsiella pneumonia. Streptomycin treats Mycobacterium, tuberculosis, and Staphylococcus aureus. And chloramphenicol treats Escherichia coli, Streptococcus pneumonia, and Staphylococcus aureus. Other precautions that you can take to prevent bacterial infection include washing your hands, not eating raw meat, not rolling around in crap you know you shouldn't be rolling around in, and basically not being an idiot. You think you can handle that? I hope so. How did you get it this far if you didn't? Now, you should know that when you take these antibiotics, there's a chance that you'll be killing the good bacteria too. The good bacteria include lactic acid, which is found outside of the body in milk products primarily. It makes you your yogurt. We all know you love your yogurt. And there's the lactobacillus, which is found in the intestines and assists in the breakdown of food, assisting the digestion. Now, can we live without these good bacteria? Well, we could probably live without them. I don't know, but we wouldn't be as effective as we had them in the first place. And I certainly know that some of you fine people wouldn't be able to live without your yogurt. We all know you love your yogurt. Now onto the subject of antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance is when a bacteria develops an immunity to a cure. This is a problem because cures that formerly worked on these bacteria to cull their ranks are now unable to function, making these bacteria as dangerous as they were before we found a cure. They become antibiotic resistant by either people taking too many antibiotic pills when they don't need them, or by people not taking enough when they're prescribed them. Sometimes people will not finish their prescriptions just because they don't like the side effects. You can stop this by not being an idiot and finishing the prescription rather than not taking medicine after you stop feeling better. Some bacteria has survived, and they will become the master race antibiotic-resistant super kebab. Also, take antibiotics specifically prescribed to you rather than someone else's antibiotics. Bacteria can become antibiotic resistant by conjugation and mutation. On the subject of antibacterial containing products being better than preventing the spread of infections, there hasn't been much proof that these antibacterial containing products truly can prevent the spread better than non-antibacterial containing products. Simply washing your hands often and cleaning shared surfaces can work just as well, if not better, than antibacterial containing products. These do not add to the problem of resistance, because it simply doesn't have any major human health consequences of using either antibacterial containing products or practicing simple proper hygiene. However, on the subject of that one antibacterial soap that has some type of antibiotics mixed in it, that does build antibiotic resistance. You might want to stop using that right now. Common antibacterial products include oxacillin, clavulanic acid, rifabutin, and cefazolin. Some bacteria that have become antibiotic resistant include Staphylococcus aureus, Neisseria gonorrhea, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and Enterococcus. These bacteria are dangerous because they can't be controlled by antibiotics, and they are easily transmitted on commonly used objects such as doorknobs, and people often take antibiotics to cure them that end up not doing anything at all. Andre Fleming is angry. They can be controlled by practicing good hygiene, such as washing your hands, not getting prescribed antibiotics when you don't have a bacterial problem, and by finishing prescribed treatments instead of stopping the treatment as soon as you feel well. Oh boo-hoo, my prescribed pills give me diarrhea. Nut up and do the human race a favor by finishing what you've started, you yellow-bellied pansy. In the future, antibiotic resistance will become more of a problem, because by then, more bacteria will have adapted and become more numerous. All because they didn't take their drugs until they were finished, even though there were tons of junkies that would kill for those pills. We can solve this by teaching people the dangers of not finishing their prescriptions, and maybe, when they come in for help, since the treatment has obviously failed after their idiocy, we can tell them exactly what happened and scare them by telling them there's no other treatment. And then we can kill them. The role that probiotics have in treating drug resistance is that they seem to be able to slow drug resistance down by eliminating side effects from the antibiotic drugs that can tend to make people stop taking them. When used in conjunction with antibiotics in an experiment, the 20 subjects who used them both had no intestinal complaints, which was unusual when other subjects took the antibiotic. Also, probiotics can help strengthen the immune system, making you less susceptible to bacteria. Oh, sweet baby Jeebus riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex into the sunset. We're finally done. Look at all these sources. Look at them all.